Bonjour et merci. Vous pouvez rejoindre nous pour la séance de la PNQ. Jagdish Joypal, bonjour.
Bonjour Priscilla, auditeurs et internautes, bonjour.
Ambiance particulière à l'Assemblée nationale ce matin avec d'abord Shakeel Mohamed qui assume le poste de leader de l'opposition après la démission qu'on reconnaît de Xavier-Luc Duval hier. Shakeel Mohamed est le 14e leader de l'opposition du pays, ancien ministre rouge, avocat de formation, les députés de la circonscription numéro 3 et nouvelle configuration au sein de l'hémicycle avec de nouveaux sitting arrangements suivant la démission de Xavier Duval comme leader de l'opposition. Et aussi ce développement de taille qui finit d'intervenir il y a une demi-heure, la démission des députés Richard Duval et Kushal Lobin du PMSD, à moins de 2 semaines du rassemblement du 1er mai et à quelques mois des élections générales, la marmite politique Jagdish Joypal est en ébullition.
Certainement, avant rassemblement symbolique du 1er mai, qui est un rassemblement, une démonstration de force pour tout ban parti politique, les cartes sont brouillées, démission Xavier Duval comme chef de l'opposition, mais qui reste dans l'opposition, donc les poussières avec ce parti, mais qui provoque en même temps une crise interne dans le PMSD. Et là, Priscilla, on ne fait qu'annoncer, finir à 2 démissions dans le PMSD, Kushal Lobin et le député Richard Duval, qui est député de Maïbo, Plaine-Magnan, alors que Kushal Lobin, il représente la circonscription numéro 15 de la caverne Phoenix. Alors, positionnement futur PMSD, pour continuer à retenir l'attention d'un pays qui direction Xavier Duval, surtout pour prendre, et après ce départ comme leader de l'opposition, et là, nous assistons à une redistribution des cartes, les cartes politiques, et dans l'opposition même, possiblement, parti travailliste capable de renforcer la force avec l'arrivée est possible de 2 nouveaux adhérents en la personne de Richard Duval et de Kushal Lobin, au cas où je décide pour faire cause commune avec le Parti travailliste et le MMM. Alors, Xavier Duval n'est pas présent pour le meeting du 1er mai. Il finit annoncé, il peut faire plutôt un rassemblement symbolique le 5 mai, l'occasion du décès de son père, Gaëtan Duval, qui également tient leader de l'opposition. Et on fait mention de 14 leaders de l'opposition. Et là, dans la présente législature, Priscilla, nous constatons Finina Arvin Boulel comme leader de l'opposition, ensuite Xavier Duval, et aujourd'hui, c'est un autre tournant, c'est Shakeel Mohamed qui assume les fonctions. Et là, en même temps, nous bien faire rappel qui Gaëtan Duval fin un leader de l'opposition, Sad Kamboulel fin leader de l'opposition, et Shakeel Mohamed, c'est le petit-fils de Sir Abdul Razak Mohamed, qui était ministre du logement dans les années 67 et avant, juste après l'indépendance, en 68 jusqu'à 76. Son papa, Youssouf Mohamed, est ministre du Travail, et Shakeel Mohamed est aussi un ancien ministre du Travail et donc leader de l'opposition. Là, nous pouvons suivre un petit peu ce parcours qui, à partir d'aujourd'hui, c'est un nouveau chapitre. Et l'opposition, Priscilla, est toujours représentée dans la législature. Nous avons une tradition parlementaire qui est très riche.
Et la première PNQ de Shakeel Mohamed ce matin à l'Assemblée nationale accède au maintien de l'ordre et de la sécurité à Maurice, nouveau leader de l'opposition qui questionne Premier ministre Pravin Jugnauth le nombre de crimes, de délits et de noyades qui finissent enregistrés depuis 2023. Les Oulés aussi connaissent si Pravin Jugnauth finit une discussion avec le commissaire de police visant à renforcer l'efficacité de la police et de la sécurité nationale, Jagdish.
Oui, c'est une question d'importance nationale, d'intérêt public. Comment, dans le passé, Xavier Duval fin venu, et depuis qu'il assume les fonctions de chef de l'opposition, il pose une question d'importance, d'intérêt national. Et là, aujourd'hui, cette question concernant la sécurité dans le pays, c'est une véritable préoccupation parce que nous constatons qu'il y a un développement dans le pays, mais par contre, une demande faiblesse de la société mauricienne, c'est la sécurité. Qui fait peut-être sa question-là, la finéna cas Récemment, un chauffeur de taxi attaqué à l'arme, presque à l'arme blanche, il n'a pas fini blessé. Heureusement, il y a cette question de la drogue. Il y a une vieille dame pour lui, pas loin, dans le Ward 4, Priscilla.
Il trouve le public aussi, sans vous interrompre, Jagdish,
oui.
le public aussi qui, quelque part, prend un petit peu la loi dans cette main.
Oui, quand la police n'a pas pu arrêter, et c'est le public qui procède à une arrestation, alors concernant ce jeune homme qui fait une attaque à un chauffeur de taxi, nous trouvons comment il fait malmené par le public. Après, livré à la police, finalement, un cas de la vieille dame pour lui, pas loin du collège Ranganaden Sinivasen, et qui paraît en traitement à l'hôpital, grièvement blessé, attaqué dans la case. Alors donc, ça c'est bonne question. Et là, c'est-à-dire le grand public, très sensible, peut demander que la police besoin être plus vigilant, ou même au constate à la radio Priscilla, nous-mêmes tous les samedis, le public intervenir pour dire que la police besoin être beaucoup plus présente au niveau de la société mauricienne. Et là, nous voyons surtout qui le Premier ministre pour répondre, et surtout, Shakeel Mohamed, c'est un avocat qui peut paraître en cours, il est très au courant de ban cas qui peut paraître et qui peut demander caution presque tous les jours, et c'est le nombre de vols qui peut continuer, donc augmenter, enregistrer et lié directement sans doute à la misère et à la drogue.
Alors sans doute dans quelques petites minutes, nous pourrons aller en direction de l'Assemblée nationale, mais Jagdish, donc lors de la Prime Minister's Question Time, les 220 millions de roupies qui t'y retrouvés côté Navin Ramgoolam à Riverwalk en 2015 pour de nouveau évoqué tout à l'heure lors de la PNQ à l'Assemblée nationale donc ce mardi. La réponse à une question, la réponse de Pravin Jugnut à une question de la députée Chief Whip Joanne Tour pour retenir l'attention donc surtout en cette fin d'année, cette année en fin de mandat pour le gouvernement.
Oui, c'est une question qui Arvin Boulel, ancien chef de l'opposition, il adresse une correspondance au speaker de l'Assemblée nationale, il dit qu'il y a une telle question irrecevable, donc besoin pas être prise aujourd'hui, parce que dans sa communication au speaker, il dit que le PNQ B159, qui fait une posée adressée au Premier ministre par Mme Tour, et troisième député de Paul-Louis-Nord, Montaille-Longue, donc les besoins, c'est-à-dire le fait que le cas des coffres-forts de Navin Ramgoolam est toujours en cours, il porte atteinte à la justice, et là nous pouvons besoin attendre exactement qui stand le speaker pour prendre, est-ce qu'il a question pour juger irrecevable ou bien poil de l'avant avec la question, parce que Arvin Boulel, une fait mention quand il pose une question, le Angus Road, concernant la propriété du Premier ministre, l'acquisition et dans quelles conditions, et sa question-là est rejetée par le speaker, étant donné qu'il y a un case, la cour concernant l'affaire Angus Road. Alors, il dit, the speaker is the custodian of the temple of democracy, donc il y a une obligation, et surtout pour veiller qu'il y a le respect et du décorum et le respect surtout du principe de la loi à Maurice, surtout quand une case en cours, il y a cette notion, cet aspect de subjudice.
Alors, 11h35, est-ce que donc la séance toujours...
Oui, tu peux attendre, Priscilla, parce que là, il y a un nouveau développement avec deux démissions de députés dans le Parlement pour une faire mention de la nouvelle configuration dans les travées. Et là, Speaker pour bien guetter, coûte pour place les députés qui fait une fête démissionner. Et nous attendons donc, voilà, 5 minutes de retard, le Parlement pour répondre.
Ça, donc tout de suite, nous mettre le cap sur l'Assemblée nationale.
be seated.
Announcements, obituary.
Mr. Speaker, sir, it is with great sadness that we have learnt of the demise of Mr. Abdul Aziz Asghar Ali, former Member of Parliament, on Tuesday, 2nd of April, at the age of 90, and Mr. Ishwardev Sitaram, GOSK, former Speaker of the National Assembly, on Monday, 8th of April, at the age of 80. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Abdul Aziz Asghar Ali was born on 22nd April 1933 in Port-Louis. He completed his secondary education at the Bourgeoisie College and pursued higher education at the University of Pennsylvania in the United States, where he was awarded a Master's in Dramatic Arts. He subsequently obtained a PGCE and joined the teaching profession, working in both primary and secondary schools. Mr. Speaker, sir, the political career of Mr. Asghar Ali began in 1976 when he ran as a candidate in the general elections in constituency number 10, Montagne Blanche and Grand River South East, under the banner of the MMM. He was not elected, but was allocated a seat under the best loser system. In May 1977, Mr. Asghar Ali contested the municipal council elections in Ward 1 in Catrabone and was elected to serve as municipal councillor. He ran as candidate in the general election of June 1982 in Montagne Blanche and Grand River South East under the banner of the MMM PSM and was elected as third member. Mr. Asghar Ali also contested the 1983 general election for the same constituency under the banner of the MMM but was not returned. In 1985, he stood as candidate for the municipal council elections in Ward 1 for the town of Catrabone and was again elected to serve as municipal councillor. Mr. Asghar Ali stood as candidate in the 1987 general election in Montagne Blanche and Grand River South East under the banner of the L'Alliance MSM Labour Party and was returned as third member. In the same year, he was designated as member to serve on the Committee of Selection as well as on the House Committee. In 1988, Mr. Asghar Ali was appointed Parliamentary Private Secretary, a post which he held until the 1991 general election. In 1991, Mr. Asghar Ali ran as candidate in the general election under the banner of the MSM-MMM Alliance in constituency number 2, Port Louis South and Port Louis Central, and was elected as second member. In October 1991, he was appointed Parliamentary Private Secretary for constituency number 2 and constituency number 15. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Asghar Ali was a prominent novel writer and an accomplished playwright. He wrote his first play, entitled Men in Hiding, in 1958. This was followed by Ratsitatan. He wrote several plays in English and French that gained international recognition. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Asghar Ali was awarded the Medal of the City of Port Louis in 1972 in recognition for his contribution to specific fields of development. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I request you to kindly direct the acting clerk to convey the heartfelt condolences of the Assembly to the bereaved family.
Mr. Speaker, there's always a lot of surprise, there's always a lot of sadness and surprise and shock do learn of the demise of former members of the National Assembly. I also join the Honourable Prime Minister in requesting you, sir, to direct the clerk to convey our deepest condolences, the condolences of the whole of the opposition, to his family and beloved.
Honourable members, I associate myself with the tribute paid to the memory of late Mr. Abdul Aziz Asghar Ali, former Member of Parliament, by the Honourable Prime Minister and the Honourable Leader of Opposition, and I direct the acting clerk to convey the deep condolences of the Assembly to the bereaved family.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Ishwadev Sitaram, GOSK, was born on 12 February 1944 in Anyeta. He received secondary education at Adventist and New Eton colleges. Mr. Sitaram joined the teaching profession in 1969, working at Balliol College. In 1971, he joined Stratford College and later became the principal of the institution. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Sitaram ran as candidate in the general election of December 1976 under the banner of the Independence Party in constituency number 15, Lacavéan and Phoenix. He was elected second member. In 1977, Mr. Sitaram was appointed Minister of Fisheries, and in 1980, he became Minister of Fisheries and Cooperative Development, a portfolio which he held until 1981. In June 1982, Mr. Sitaram contested the general election under the banner of Parti de l'Alliance Nationale in the same constituency, Lacavéan and Phoenix, but was not returned. Mr. Sitaram also contested the 1983 general election, which was held in August under the banner of MSM Labour Party in constituency number 9, Flac and Bonaccueil, and was elected third member. In the same year, he was elected to serve as deputy chairperson of committees, a nomination which he held until 1985. In December 1984, he was designated to serve on the Public Accounts Committee, the House Committee, and the Select Committee on the Certificate of Primary Education Examination. In March 1986, Mr. Sitaram was appointed Minister of Cooperatives. In August 1987, Mr. Sitaram ran as candidate in the general election in constituency number 9, Flac and Bonaccueil, under the banner of the MSM Labour Party Alliance, and was elected as third member. He was later elected as deputy chairman of committees. Mr. Speaker, sir, the office of the Speaker was declared vacant on the 4th of December 1990, and Mr. Sitaram was elected to serve as Speaker of the then Legislative Assembly. Mr. Sitaram contested the general election for the last time in 1991 under the banner of the MSM-MMM Alliance in constituency number 15, Lacavéan and Phoenix. He was elected as second member. On 24th of September 1991, he was elected as Speaker of the Assembly. He held this high office until November 1995. In January 1996, he retired from active politics. Mr. Speaker, sir, on 12th of March 2012, Mr. Sitaram was honored for his long and dedicated service in the political and social fields and was elevated to the rank of Grand Officer of the Order of the Star and Key of the Indian Ocean. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Sitaram had a special passion for plantation, and in the year 2000, he joined the Agricultural Development Marketing Association. He was amongst the first planters to reap onions on Agaliga Island. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I kindly request you to direct the acting clerk to convey the heartfelt condolences of the Assembly to the bereaved family.
Mr. Speaker, once again, in such a situation, it pains me to note that we have personally here in members of the opposition known the deceased very well, and he has been always a source of inspiration. He has always been giving good advice to the young who join politics, and he will be sorely missed. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I also join the Honourable Prime Minister in requesting you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to direct the clerk to convey my deepest condolences and the condolences of the whole opposition to his family, and most specifically to a colleague of mine who is his son, Jim, and also member of the Mauritius Labour Party. Thank you.
Honourable members, I associate myself with the tribute paid to the memory of late Mr. Swadev Sitaram, former Speaker of the National Assembly, by the Honourable Prime Minister and the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, and I direct the Acting Clerk to convey the deep condolences of the Assembly to the bereaved family. Honourable members, I have two announcements. I am pleased to inform the House that the National Assembly will be hosting the 15e conférence des présidents d'Assemblée et de section de la région Afrique de l'Assemblée parlementaire de la francophonie, APF, on Thursday 18th and Friday 19th of April 2024 at the Intercontinental Hotel in Balaklava. Some 50 delegates of the francophonie, comprising the Vice President and the Délégué Général of the APF, presiding officers, members of Parliament and officials within the Africa region are expected to participate in the conference. The conference will deliberate on issues of common interest pertaining to the promotion and advancement of parliamentary democracy within the Africa region. Honourable members, I will be leading the Mauritian delegation, myself, which comprises Honourable Babli, PPS, Honourable David, who are designated members of the APF, and Honourable Mrs. Mayot, PPS, whom I have co-opted to form part of the delegation. Additionally, I have also nominated the members representing the Association des Parlements de la Commission de l'Océan Indien, namely Honourable Abbas Mahmoud, Honourable François, PPS, and Honourable Mrs. Fokiun Bachar to participate in the conference. Moreover, I have also invited the chairperson of the Rodrigues Regional Assembly to lead a delegation to attend the said conference as observers. Thank you for your attention. Honourable members, second announcement. I have received a letter from Dr. the Honourable Boulel expressing his opinion that PQB 159 on today's order paper, an address to the Honourable Prime Minister on the outcome of the inquiry of the coffers, says at the residence of former Prime Minister in 2015 is not receivable inasmuch as the matter is before the Intermediate Court and is sub judice. Honourable members, I have perused the ruling dated 3rd April 2024 of the Magistrate of the Intermediate Court in the matter of Police versus Navin Chandra Ramgulam, whereby it has clearly stated that the trial has not started in this case. In fact, at this stage, only preliminary points of law are being raised. I rule that the subject matter is not sub judice, inasmuch as there is no real and substantial danger that is going to impact or prejudice the outcome of the case. I thank you for your attention.
Papers have been laid. Questions?
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, with your permission, before I am to go to the private notice question, I'd like to place on record, sir, the opposition's disagreement with your unilateral decision to have decided on seating issues, which has been done in practice.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition, I am on my feet. This is question time. There is no point for point of order. I have already ruled on one thing. If there is any ruling to be given, I'll give it at a later stage. You go directly, this is question time on the order paper. You go directly to the PNQ. You can come to this point at a later stage.
This point is alive. Thank you very much. And will always remain a live one. Now, I have given notice to the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Defense, Home Affairs, External Communications, Minister of Rodrigues, Outer Island, Territorial Integrity, it's pretty long. And the question is as follows, whether in regard to law and order and security in Mauritius, he will, for the benefit of the House, obtain from the Commissioner of Police information as to the breakdown of the number of crimes, misdemeanors, including cases of drowning since the 1st of January 2023 to date. State if he has discussed the matter with the Commissioner of Police with a view to addressing the need for the effective policing thereof in the country.
Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, let me congratulate the honourable member on his appointment as the leader of the opposition, and I can wish him a long tenure as leader of the opposition. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I would like to thank the honourable leader of the opposition for this private notice question on this very important issue of policing, law and order, and security, which is of national interest and of great concern to my government. This will give me an opportunity to inform the House and reassure the population in general of the efforts being deployed to maintain law and order and to protect the population. I also seize this opportunity to convey my deepest condolences to the bereaved families who have unfortunately lost their dear ones in tragic circumstances. Let me state in no unclear terms that any act of criminal nature will not be tolerated, and police will deal with criminal and other related cases with severity and will leave no stone unturned to bring the perpetrators to justice. By virtue of Section 2 of the Criminal Code, offences which the law punishes are crimes, misdemeanors, or contraventions. Pursuant to Section 4 thereof, crimes are offences punishable by A. Penal servitude, B. A fine exceeding 5,000 rupees. Pursuant to Section 5, misdemeanors are offences punishable by A. Imprisonment for a term exceeding 10 days, B. A fine exceeding 5,000 rupees, and pursuant to Section 6, contraventions are offences punishable by A. Imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 days, B. A fine not exceeding 5,000 rupees. Offences falling under the category of crime include offences against the person such as murder, manslaughter, homicide, and offences against property committed with violence and other aggravating circumstances. Offences falling under the category of misdemeanor include offences such as simple larceny, assaults, and other crimes of less serious nature. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the House is aware, criminality is a global phenomenon. Virtually every country in the world is experiencing an increase in crime rate, especially with societal evolution. Any form of violence, including physical, emotional, financial, virtual, and sexual abuse committed against our citizens and foreigners alike, are definitely a matter of serious concern to any government. We are also duty-bound to give additional protection to the most vulnerable individuals in our society. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regard Part A of the question, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that since 1st of January 2023 to date, 6,609 crime cases and 50,922 misdemeanor cases have been reported to the police. For the same period, 28 cases of drowning have also been reported to the police. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regard Part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that pursuant to Section 71 of the Constitution, I meet the Commissioner of Police on an almost daily basis, and briefings are carried out on the law and order situation in the country. As and when required, general directions of policy are given to the Commissioner of Police for maintenance of public safety and public order. Mr. Speaker, sir, to enhance security in our country, the police has developed and implemented strategies designed to address prevailing and emerging crimes. These proactive measures include crime prevention initiatives and active engagement of the community and other stakeholders. These measures include neighborhood policing at the level of each division, the conduct of handhold operations which aim at affording a higher level of protection to the elderly. During such operations, police visit elderly persons, including retired persons, especially those who live alone, with a view to ensuring their safety and security. Police have also recourse to technology by optimizing the use of safe city cameras for the identification and monitoring of suspicious characters likely to prey on our citizens and foreigners. Foot and mobile patrols are being carried out by regular police, Police du Tourisme, National Coast Guard, and Emergency Response Service at places frequently visited by foreigners, especially near hotels, tourist sites, coastal areas, amongst others. The Police du Tourisme and the police stations along coastal regions are carrying bike patrols at strategic locations, including tourist sites, industrial and commercial areas. A dedicated mobile app, namely Sécurité, has been put in place to provide assistance to elderly persons. The mobile application, Sécurité, can be downloaded on a smartphone, and it includes a panic button which allows for rapid intervention in emergency cases. The application, L'Espoir, has been put in place for victims of domestic violence. Regular checks are carried out on persons who are released from prisons and movements of habitual criminals, particularly those with modus oblast breaking are regularly being monitored. Regular meetings are held to exchange information between field intelligence officers, CID officers, and ADSU officers to properly monitor habitual criminals and to identify crime hotspots. The bicycle patrol scheme has been restyled and revamped as the police bike patrol, whereby trained police bikers patrol their respective station areas at critical places during critical hours for crime prevention, law enforcement, sensitization, and citizens' contact. The acquisition of new equipment, such as new aircraft, helicopters, high-speed boats, police vehicles, and other specialized equipment for better surveillance, and also to enable the police officers to effectively carry out their investigations. The Police du Tourisme, Crime Prevention Unit, Brigade pour la Protection de la Famille, and local police carry out sensitization campaigns to raise awareness among the population in general and vulnerable groups in particular to reduce risk of victimization. The role and responsibilities of the Emergency Response Service has been reviewed for more effective and timely response to requests for police assistance to victims. With the coming into operation of the Child Sex Register Offender Act 2020, the movements of persons convicted for sexual offences against children are being closely monitored in order to prevent them from reoffending. Police officers are provided with continuous training to improve service delivery, including assistance to vulnerable persons. And members of the public, including whistleblowers and informers, are being encouraged to use police toll-free 999 and anonymous hotline 148 to share information on illegal activities within the region. Mr. Speaker, sir, the police has also developed its strategic plan 2022-2025, where it has identified 9 strategic priority areas to enhance the police force, namely 1. Improving service delivery, 2. Reinforcing community safety and partnership, 3. Tackling serious organized and transnational crime, 4. Enhancing investigative capabilities, 5. Exploiting technology in policing, 6. Human resource training and development, 7. Managing disasters, 8. Building sustainability and resilience, and 9. Enhancing motivation and morale of personnel. Mr. Speaker, sir, moreover, in December 2023, the police carried out a threat assessment to identify prevailing and emerging crimes and other issues that could impact the law and order and community safety for the next 2 years. Subsequently, in the beginning of this year, control strategies and a policing plan have been designed to address prevailing and emerging crimes and other policing challenges. Mr. Speaker, sir, public support, involvement and engagement in identification of perpetrators is always helpful, but nobody should take the law into his own hands. The rule of law should prevail at all times, and offenders prosecuted and brought before courts. Mr. Speaker, sir, with climate change and global warming, weather and sea conditions are likely to deteriorate and pose inherent risks and hazards to persons who venture at sea. These challenges can be addressed with the cooperation of one and all. We need to be vigilant and take as much precautions to avoid risking lives. It is unfortunate that several persons lost their lives at sea. To curb down this occurrence, several measures have been taken, such as heavy swell warning for Mauritius, Rodrigues and Agalega are issued by the Mauritius Meteorological Services. The last warning was issued on Saturday 13th of April 2024 to take effect as from Sunday 14th of April until Tuesday 16th of April 2024. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Center thereafter, on the same 13th of April 2024, issued a written communiqué for the attention of the public through the media. Special deployment of personnel, including lifesavers and divers, and equipment such as rapid intervention boats on public beaches and at sea from early morning to late in the evening. Deployment of senior officers on ground for monitoring of deployment of personnel, reinforcement of personnel at National Coast Guard posts during special occasions. Place-based policing is carried out with mobile patrols, reinforcing areas seeing heavy congregation. Mr. Speaker, sir, moreover, the National Coast Guard is working in close collaboration with the Beach Authority, the Fisheries Services, and the Tourism Authority for the development of a warning system using flags to dissuade public from swimming during bad weather conditions and the installation of beach watchtowers. Mr. Speaker, sir, when the government took office in 2014, the law and order situation was appalling, to say the least. Since then, the government has been making unprecedented and sustained efforts to clear the rot and build a more peaceful, safer, and secure Mauritius, and rekindle the waning trust of the public in our institutions. We have achieved a lot over the years, and the results are acknowledged regionally and internationally. As a matter of fact, Mauritius has achieved notable rankings in various international indices, particularly standing out as a leader in Africa. Some of the indices where Mauritius is well positioned include the following. The Global Peace Index, Mauritius ranks 23rd out of 163 countries globally in 2023. Mauritius has consistently performed well in the Mo Ibrahim Index of African Governance. According to the latest available data, Mauritius ranks first in Africa with a score of 74.9 out of 100 in overall governance. This ranking reflects the country's strong governance, which includes aspects such as safety and the rule of law, participation and human rights, sustainable economic opportunity, and human development. Mauritius' top position in the Mo Ibrahim Index demonstrates its commitment to good governance practices and its status as a leader in Africa in this regard. And the Index of Economic Freedom, Mauritius ranks 19th globally in 2024 and is the top country in Africa. Moreover, according to the latest Economist Intelligence Unit report, Mauritius is one of Africa's most stable democracies, with a high level of respect for political institutions. Mauritius is ranked 20th globally with a score of 8.14 ahead of countries of France, Spain, the United States, Portugal, and Belgium, but to name a few. In fact, Mauritius is the only country classified as a full democracy in the whole of Africa. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mauritius is today a much safer place compared to the period under the Labour Party rule. The people of this country still recall the règne de la terreur of the Escadron de la Mort, which was operating in all impunity because of their proximity with power, a fact which the new leader of the opposition is well aware of. Mr. Speaker, sir, this government remains fully committed to guaranteeing security and law and order for the citizens of the country and foreigners as well. We will continue to adopt a zero-tolerance policy against drug trafficking and the drug mafia and all sorts of criminal activities. We will continue investing in the modernization of our police force and providing it with all the necessary resources for it to deliver effectively on its mandate of maintaining law and order. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, may I ask the Honourable Prime Minister the following question? Since I believe we're on the same page and he agrees that there is a rise on the rate of crime, my question is about the drowning issue first. Back in 2018, when his late father was a member of Parliament, Sir Anil Jagnat was put a question B505, where he was asked for beach watchtowers, precisely in order to avoid drowning and to protect people from drowning, as opposed to the actual system of simply relying on national coast guards. And the answer of the then minister was the following, that this is being considered. Today I've heard the Prime Minister say beach watchtowers are being considered. Could you just tell us why is it that it is still being considered since 2018, and why is it that he is so slow at delivering on promises made as far back as 2018?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are doing, and we have done, in fact, what the Labour government has not even paid attention to. He's talking about drowning. In fact, we have done better, because there was no, I would say no warning at that time during the Labour days with regard to people who go to the seaside, whether they go for fishing or for a swim or for even just for a walk. What we have done is now the meteorological services, they regularly issue warning with regard to swells and recommend people not to venture at sea. And in fact, there have been during, I must say it is very unfortunate that during especially the recent past, in spite of the fact that there have been warnings to people not to venture at sea, whether fishermen or people to go for a swim. Unfortunately, there have been cases where people have drowned. So each one has to take his responsibility. The government, we are acting through institutions by warning people whenever there can be a risk of losing their lives, there is a danger, and each one of us then has to take the necessary precaution so that we don't take any risk. And therefore, now, as I have mentioned, adding to that, we are going to have the two other measures that are being worked out, is to have, at least at the specific location where there are normally people who attend the seaside for the beaches for swimming, a system, again, to warn people, and also in terms of security, for there to be a beach tower, so that there can be a monitoring of those people who are already at sea with lifesavers. This is being worked out.
So, Mr. Speaker, sir, so it has taken, I'm happy that the Honourable Prime Minister confesses that it has taken more than 6 years for him to try to implement what his late father had promised, and he has failed. Now, coming to another issue, because the beach towers we're still watching and they're still not there. Now, with regards to the 4 deaths by drowning and the 2 who have disappeared, I've had the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, sir, of speaking to one of the young women, the mother of one of the young women. I do not know if the Honourable Prime Minister has had some time in his busy schedule to at least apologize to those people, because at one of those places, one of the places of Souffleur, there was not where those people, those youngsters, disappeared in the ocean. I have confirmation that there is no sign whatsoever on the beach to say that it is dangerous to go and venture. Why is it that the police, under your watch, Prime Minister, why is it that the police under your watch, Prime Minister, has been caught asleep by not ensuring, I agree, each one has their own responsibility, but why is it that the police under your watch, Prime Minister, did not act responsibly by sending police officers or National Coast Guard officers there in order to see to it that citizens were protected? Instead of that, they were found asleep at the helm.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I obviously do not agree at all with the Honorable Leader of the Opposition who says that we have failed. He's talking about this issue of setting up warning at a specific location. What I have just answered, we have done more than that. We have done better than that. The better that we have done is when you have the meteorological services warning everybody that today or tomorrow or day after, it is very risky for you to go at sea. What do you want more than that? When you have a warning telling you not to go at sea and you go at sea? It is very unfortunate. It is very unfortunate that the Leader of the Opposition is trying to score cheap political points on the pain of people who have lost their close ones. This is what he is doing. I have not heard him saying anything about the responsibility of people whenever there is a warning. What about that? You have a warning, it's a bit like telling you not to venture and you still venture. And he's talking about there should be oh, come on. You have to be serious. And to be serious, you have to see what else can be done, in fact, to try to avert that people do not take any risks in and eventually losing their lives.
Mr. Speaker, sir, with regards to the figures of crime, once again, there is un sens d'insécurité dans le pays because people have seen, now we have the age of vigilantes, precisely because of rising frustration within the police force, inability to effectively police law and order. What does the Honourable Prime Minister have to say to this public who is today afraid to venture outside when he himself has given figures that show that the crime rate is alarmingly on the increase? Apart from telling us beautiful words, what can he do in order to ensure that there is an independent assessment of the policing effectiveness of the police force by an independent body instead of the police themselves passing proper judgment and giving beautiful words and hiding the truth? As in the United Kingdom, this exists. There is a report which is a police...
Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, try to contain your question. Your question is too large. Stop it there. Let the Prime Minister reply.
Well, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, maybe he is now being selective in his memory. I don't know whether he can recall the days when he was in a Labour government. And yes, he was minister, he was in cabinet. Then, and there's more.
What is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, when the Leader of the Opposition put his question, I did not interrupt him at all. In fact, I listened carefully to what he is saying. I think he should be also respectful to listen to my answer and not to interrupt.
He will be respectful.
And I will tell him at the time, I will answer to what he's saying from a sitting position, interrupting me. Let me give the figures for reste tranquille de ta. And you're talking about law and order, criminality. Look who is intervening. One who has...
What is happening? Honourable Juman, what is happening? This is Parliament, no place for bullying.
Okay.
Prime Minister, continue. Order everywhere.
Let me give the figures for crimes. Kistan, Begoraisak kete. Goraisak.
Honourable Juman, I'm taking action against you. I already warned you, and you are continuing. Please move out from the chamber. Continue. On a point of...
Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to raise The point of order, I have just heard Honorable Joanna Béranger say Limem Intui Kisnen.
Order, 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 both sides of the House. Order, order, I am on my feet. Order. Honorable Joanna Béranger, if ever you have said these things, wait. Be polite, wait. If ever you have said these things, you please withdraw it instantly. If not, I'll verify and I'll take sanctions.
I never said that.
Thank you. Continue.
I was referring to figures for the year 2007. The number of crimes, 6,591. And misdemeanors, 41,748. For the year 2008, 6 crimes, 6,340. And for misdemeanors, 42,771. Now, at that time, yes, I was in cabinet with the Honorable Leader of the Opposition. No, at that time, later on, when you mentioned that I was in cabinet with you. But he never was concerned about the crime rate or the number of misdemeanors. Where was he then? Then everything was okay. Mauritius was all secure. So, and I don't want to go into the days of the Labour Party, when Navin Ramgoolam was Prime Minister. As an example.
Order! Order! Both sides of the House, order! Order! Order!
The situation, as an example, because there are so many examples that I can quote to this House, but as one example, the situation on Sunday, the 21st of February 1999, il y avait émeute dans ce pays. And I will just quote what Justice Matadin had said in his report. 3 Mauritians had lost their lives, many more were injured, and untold damage caused to property, public as well as private. And this is what he said. There is little doubt that the riots and disturbances revealed weaknesses in the capacity of the police to respond sufficiently firmly to the rioting. Who was Prime Minister at that time? Where was he? And now, exactly, now they are giving lessons.
So, time is over by a few minutes. Time is over by a few minutes. Prime Minister's question time. The table has been advised that PQ B213 will be replied by the Honourable Prime Minister, time permitting. I now call Honourable Hakim.
B158.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in accordance with Section 6 of the Ports Act, the administration...
Cette première PNQ de Shakeel Mohamed axée le maintien de l'ordre et de la sécurité à Maurice, nouveau leader de l'opposition qui nous rappelle fait une question Premier ministre Pravin Jugnut, le nombre de crimes, de délits et de noyades qui finissent enregistrés depuis 2023. Alors, les types aussi, vous les connaissez, si Pravin Jugnut gagne une discussion avec le commissaire de police visant à renforcer l'efficacité de la police et la sécurité nationale. Alors, d'abord, Pravin Jugnut félicite Shakeel Mohamed et lui souhaitait qu'il ait pour 10 ans encore comme leader de l'opposition et la question de law and order Pravin Jugnauth a dit que c'est une question d'intérêt national. Les fins présentes sur une sympathie à une famille qui fin perdu de proche dans une circonstance tragique. Et il dit qu'aucun acte criminel n'a pas pour tolérer. Il dit la police pour assurer que justice soit faite. Il revient un petit peu les sanctions, l'amende. Alors, en ce qui concerne les chiffres, quelques chiffres qui Pravin Jugnauth a fin donné, finina 6609 délits, donc, et aussi 50 922 délits mineurs. Alors, il dit qu'il y a 28 cas de noyade qui finissent rapportés à la police, donc, depuis janvier 2023, pour répondre à la question de Shakeel Mohamed. Et il dit qu'il gagne un briefing régulièrement avec le commissaire de police, le maintien de l'ordre et de la sécurité. Il fin revient, entre autres, la stratégie de la police, il fin cause la prévention, neighborhood policing, protection de personnes âgées, visite de la police à des personnes qui vivent seules, utilisation de caméras de surveillance, les causes entre autres le Foot and Mobile Patrol, les causes aussi le Mobile App Sécurité pour venir en aide à des personnes âgées, les causes aussi l'application Mobile App L'Espoir pour les victimes de violences domestiques, le Bike Patrol et Pravin Jugnauth a dit qui whistleblowers encouragés pour partager l'information avec la police, notamment le 999. Il dit aussi qu'en décembre 2023, la police a fait un threat assessment le crime et suite à ça, il y a une stratégie qui fin mettre en place. Et Pravin Jugnauth dit qu'il n'est pas capable de prendre la loi dans la main. Il dit avec aussi, en ce qui concerne le cas de noyade, il dit avec le changement climatique, besoin de prendre précaution et pas prendre risque. Il dit qu'il y a une autorité récemment, donc le 13 avril, entre autres, donc date qu'il est donnée, tient forme à travers un communiqué de avis de Fort Hood. Et il dit aussi, donc, à Pravin Jugnauth, qui dit en 2014, la situation de law and order est grave, mais Maurice Zodi, donc, les plus sécurisés qui sous le règne du Parti travailliste. Et Pravin Jugnauth dit aussi que la police pour continuer à adopter une politique de zéro tolérance vis-à-vis de la drogue, pardon, de la mafia de la drogue.
La mafia de la drogue,
et
oui.
question supplémentaire, Jagdish, de Shakeel Mohamed. Alors, par rapport à un cas de noyade, il dit qui fait une installation de Mirador, donc, comme annoncé en 2018. Alors, Pravin Jugnauth dit qu'il y a un avertissement de la météo. Il dit les malheureux qui van dimoun, donc, pas suivre instruction. Et donc, l'idée qui bizarre prend une précaution et chacun bizarre prend sous responsabilité. Shakeel Mohamed déplore le fait qu'il y a souffleur, par exemple, il n'a aucune indication pour dire qu'il est dangereux pour faire une baignade là-bas. Et Shakeel Mohamed aussi déplore le fait que la police pas finale sur place pour informer le public. Pravin Jugnauth accuse Shakeel Mohamed pour essayer de gagner un point lorsqu'il appelle cheap political points, donc l'eau victime. Alors, en ce qui concerne un chiffre, Shakeel Mohamed donc un chiffre qui fin avancé par Pravin Jugnauth, il dit qu'il y a un sens d'insécurité, un sentiment d'insécurité dans le pays. Et il dit qu'il fait Pravin avec un independent body pour assesser le travail de la police. Alors, à un moment donné, Jagdish Joypal finira donc quelques échanges entre d'abord Pravin Jugnauth et le député Juman.
Oui, quelques échanges, surtout chacun peut ou les restes les autres positions pour justifier un petit peu le travail bien fait du côté du gouvernement avec le Premier ministre et de l'autre côté, la grande préoccupation exprimée par Shakeel Mohamed du côté de l'opposition concernant law and order. Et là, le Premier ministre reconnaît que le rule of law should prevail at all times, c'est-à-dire tout le temps, nous besoin veiller que l'ordre et la sécurité les prévaloir dans le pays. Et oui, il fait mention de l'année 2018, quand il y a une question adressée à l'époque à Saniro Jagnat, qui était Premier ministre, là, qui pour installation ban Mirador, surtout au niveau de la plage publique, pour attirer l'attention et en même temps pour assurer une surveillance. Et là, Shakeel Mohamed, Indien, qui fait sa projet là, pas fin avancé, surtout pas il y a beaucoup de miradors qui finissent en construction. Alors, l'idée, c'est un travail très lent qui peut faire. Et ensuite, comme on m'a fait rappel, il y a un panneau indicateur de danger qui est là dans certaines plages publiques. Mais le Premier ministre peut dire malgré tout, quand même, il y a une amélioration au niveau de l'institution, de l'organisation qui est engagée dans la sécurité. Pour question concernant surtout le cas de noyade, là, Pravin Jagna dit qu'avec le changement climatique, les données peuvent changer et donc il y a un warning, un avertissement qui peut émettre par le département de la météo pour attirer l'attention du public au danger qui est là, surtout pendant une période de mauvais temps. Et il fait rappel que même dans le week-end dernier, quand il y a 5 cas de noyade, il y a un warning annoncé par le département de la météo, mais ce qui Shakeel Mohamed peut vous le dire, faire comprendre, c'est qu'il besoin un officier de police nationale, Coast Guard, être présent pour attirer l'attention du public, pas venture at sea, c'est-à-dire qu'il ne faut pas de t'aventurer en mer, il faut une campagne de sensibilisation qui fait sur place au niveau du grand public. Alors, et en même temps, le Premier ministre peut dire, le support, le soutien du public, l'essentiel, surtout pour qui, c'est-à-dire la sécurité et la paix, les prévaloir dans le pays. Ensuite, il mentionne certainement différentes institutions qui sont engagées, Priscilla, dans la lutte contre la criminalité et déploiement personnel. Et là, on fait mention de sa institution qui, Shakeel Mohamed Indir, peut-être nécessaire à cesse, c'est-à-dire faire une évaluation du travail de la police concernant la lutte contre la criminalité. Shakeel Mohamed, il fait mention qui est là un peu, beaucoup même de frustration dans la police, ce qui expliquait peut-être que le travail n'a pas pu avancer. Et il disait qu'en Angleterre, il y a une institution indépendante qui supervise, qui surveille, alors qui moniteur, c'est-à-dire travaille la police et veiller que tout passe dans les meilleures conditions.
Avec Finena, oui, Jagdish,
Oui.
allez-y.
Oui, allez-y.
Donc, on peut dire Finena aussi également un ruling du speaker, à moins que peut-être on a d'autres points pour avancer concernant la PNQ.
Oui, c'est-à-dire, et là, pendant la PNQ, il paraît que le député Joman, possiblement, il est expulsé du Parlement, déjà une première expulsion, et ensuite, il y a un point qui finit soulevé par la ministre Koundjoucha à l'effet qui
il y a un propos inapproprié selon lui de la députée Johanna Béranger.
Mais Johanna Béranger, le speaker il demande, il dit, s'il dit ça va un propos là, et concernant la mort de Kisnen, il maintenir, il pas fin dire de tels propos. Et là, le speaker, sans doute pour l'écoute, enregistrement qui est là pour guetter qui vrai, qui pas vrai, et surtout s'il y a un cas pareil, alors là, nous pouvons bien faire le suivi.
Et puis donc, finalement, le ruling du speaker par rapport à la question concernant les 220 millions de roupies donc, qui étaient retrouvés côté Navin Ramgoolam à Riverwalk en 2015.
Oui, alors, comme on nous fait mention, donc après la correspondance qui Arvin Boulel il adresse au speaker pour dire que sa question-là irrécevable, et donc, bizarre il ne faut pas répondre à la question. Le speaker dit l'affaire concernant les coffres-forts, le trial pas encore commencé. Donc, alors, à ce moment, il y a encore au stade préliminaire. Donc, il n'y a pas porte atteinte à la justice. Donc, il n'y a pas subjudiqué, comment il finit dire. Et là, Shakeel Mohamed, il qualifiait ça comme une décision unilatérale du speaker, Mais seulement ensuite, Shakeel Mohamed, il fait mention, il nous fait mention de sitting arrangement.
Oui, tout à fait. Donc,
Oui.
l'opposition du nouveau leader de l'opposition par rapport au sitting arrangement.
Au sitting arrangement, c'est-à-dire place qui fait une et dans l'hémicycle, mais là, le speaker il dit ça, il pas une question pour être soulevée à ce moment précis, parce qu'il a nous peut dire avec le private notice question et l'interpellation parlementaire.
En tout cas, merci beaucoup, Jagdish Joypal, pour ce compte-rendu.
Merci, Priscilla, pour l'apport et surtout donc la collaboration.
Collaboration, donc grand plaisir
Assuré.
partagé, Jagdish Joypal. Donc, pour capable suivre un large extrait de la séance de la PNQ tout à l'heure dans le journal de 13h avec Douchila Mansing, ou capable suivre également la séance de la PNQT qui peut dérouler en ce moment lors de nos pages Facebook défimédia.info. À très bientôt.